Welcome to the Armchair GM podcast. Calgary Flames went ahead and locked up a couple of studs for the future. Did you say you wanted to know what our projected lines would be? Well, if you didn't, you were foolish, because we're about to do it. Welcome to the Armchair GM podcast. Oh, man. I don't know what was worse. The fact you did it or the audio that happened. But
Was it that bad?
well attempted. Yeah, it wasn't great. You can try it again. I think it's because you covered your mouth. You can't cover your mouth when you're doing the wolfie, baby.
Oh,
Gotta say it loud and proud.
Is that better?
There. I mean, yes. Yes. Well done, sir.
We got to get one of those Sportsnet 960 buttons they have where they just press the button and it goes, it does a wolf sound.
We just need Rogers funding and we'll be well on our way with all sorts of animated sounds.
$370 a year per person?
Yeah. That's what we're paying, isn't it?
Woo! Okay. So yeah, Dustin Wolf signs a 7-year, $7.5 million contract. So he's got 8 years in Calgary. The last few years of that has a 10-team no trade clause. So insanely movable contract should you ever want to, but I doubt you would. What an awesome deal. Like, I was honestly expecting 7.5 times 8 or 7.75 times 8 or 8 times 8, or sorry, 8.75 times 8 or 8.5 times 8 or whatever, but I wasn't expecting in the sevens at all.
No, I wasn't. I mean, I wasn't expecting in the sevens for either number, to be honest with you. I'm surprised he didn't go max. That's okay. It opens up the door for him to make more money after that because he's going to come out of this contract as a UFA. So, depending on how his career goes to that point, which all signs are pointing to probably pretty damn good, he's setting himself up to maybe make a decent, even more of a decent amount of money in his last couple of years of his career. So good for him. I think it's a very team friendly deal.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited that he was willing to sign something like that, right? Because that's what you hear is the young guys, he's American, all that fun stuff. Doesn't want to play. No Americans want to play in Calgary, but apparently some do, and they sign 7-year deals to do so at a discount, in my opinion. I would have been totally kosher with that deal, adding $1 million to each one of those years. So
I could say the same about Coronado, who
both.
signed a 6-year deal, who about the same, $1 million cheaper than you would have expected.
Yep.
As an American.
Absolutely. As an American, exactly. Well done, Craig. See, I guess that American knows how to entice them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, Wolf comes out at age 32. Like you said, that'll give him a solid chance to get another 3, 4, 5-year deal. Which, if we're projecting out, probably in the 10s, maybe even 11s by that time in 2032, 2033. So
yeah, because what's the salary cap going to be then? Like 130, maybe. Like they're projecting it to go up considerably in the next in the next few years. So I feel like, in 2033, when he's looking for a new contract and he gets 10.5, it's essentially going to be the same as the 7.5 now, as far as percentage and all that fun stuff. So I think I think it's a great deal. I'm actually pretty pumped for it. I've had my hesitations. I've expressed them on the show before on Dustin Wolf, and he proved me wrong last year. And I think it's a well-deserved contract, and I'm excited for the future again.
Yeah, it's good that we've got a young goalie homegrown goalie, obviously from the States, from California, but drafted by the Flames in the 7th round, one of the last picks of the draft a few years back, and just has won consistently at every level that he's played, been pretty much the best goalie in the league in uh every level he's played up until the NHL, where I'd argue last year he was a top 8 goalie last year in the NHL, in the best league in the world, and that's pretty fucking impressive.
Not bad.
I
Not
got
bad as a
into an
rookie.
argument with somebody online earlier today about who was like, "Oh, I don't think Wolf is very impressive. Like he's his stats mirror that of Brian Elliott." And I was just thinking to myself, like, man, when Brian Elliott was playing for the Flames, league average was 913, and
Right.
and Brian Elliott had like a 909 or something like that, and now league average is 900, and Dustin Wolf has a 910, so he's far above league average
Yeah.
in 1 year he's played so far. Remains to be seen how that grows or what or doesn't grow in the next few years. But I think if you look at some of his peers, Jake Ottinger, who's not, he had that awesome series against the Flames, but his play has significantly dropped off since then. He's making 8.25, got an 8-year deal. Jeremy Swayman, given he was a holdout last year, he's got 8.25 times 8, and he was straight up terrible last year. I just dropped him in fantasy last year. I expect a bit of a bounce back from him this year, but still he was bad. UC Saros, who's probably Wolf's closest comparison, play style and size wise, got a 7.74 times 8. Lucas Dostal, who's not quite as good as Wolf in my opinion, got 6.5 times 5. Aiden Hill, who's kind of more of a 1A than an actual starter, got 6.25. That's just some of the, relatively recently signed, deals that goalies have signed in the last few years that are somewhat close to Dustin Wolf. I think his 7.5 times 7 really stacks up really well to those. I think it's going to be an absolute steal. I could see him being the best out of all of those guys. I think maybe in 2 or 3 years you'll see Wolf and Dostal being the two best out of that group, and they're making almost a full mil or two less than some of those other guys. So impressive stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. When was Ottinger's contract signed? 2 years ago.
I
So we
believe
still
2 years
got
ago. Yeah.
six years on that. And also to note, like Wolf's contract doesn't start until next year, so we still have 8 years under contract with him. So I feel like in 8 years, when say a Jake Ottinger is 2 years removed and is now playing for 5.5 because he's kind of worked himself out of the number one spot by that point, maybe projection, who knows. I think people are going to look at this contract and talk about how much of a steal it is. I think in years 4, 5, 6, and 7, it's going to be looking really, really, really team friendly, and that's one of the things that kind of excites me about this. I do believe you're looking at obviously our future goaltending. I think he retires, as a Flame, as long as his career goes well, and then he's able to sign the, I'll say a 10-year times 3 or 4 at the end of that. And I think people are going to be really excited with this move.
You
And
mean a 10 million times 3 or 4?
yeah,
Yeah. You said 10 years. I was like, I don't think.
did I really?
Yeah. I think the CBA went down in years, not up, but
No, he's playing till 2044. I don't know if you got that memo or not. Yeah, that is completely my bad.
Um, yeah, no, I could see that too. I have a hard time projecting players. You know, I'll project Backlund to play the rest of his career in Calgary because he's already
Wow.
36 or
Hot takes.
whatever, and he said he wanted to play the rest of his career in Calgary. But I'm not going to project a 24-year-old to finish his career in Calgary. Uh,
No, that's fair. That's an
that's a little bit
incredibly
different.
hot take you just made there. I can't believe you actually said that Backlund might actually finish as a one team player.
I believe I said that for the last couple years, even long before Backlund said it himself.
Wow.
Um,
See in the future. So why don't
because
you just say
I've
that about
I don't know,
Dustin
man.
now and then
I'm the one that's been saying all these years that he's sneaking up on Iginla's games played record. He probably wants to pass that before he retires. So that's my opinion. But yeah, it's great stuff for Dustin Wolf. And one of my favorite things about this too is I believe Craig Conroy said in his interview that they thought that they could only get 6, and Wolf's camp came back and actually said, no, let's do 7 years. So, which is similar to what Coronado's uh, contract uh, negotiations kind of came to, was apparently Coronado's camp called back and said, no, let's do longer than what Calgary thought that they would get. So,
yeah,
yeah, a couple of young American kids wanting to stay in Calgary longer term than Calgary even thought that they could keep them for. That's good to see.
the narrative is shifting. Spread the word.
Maybe we can just stop with this whole people don't want to be in Calgary or Americans don't want to be in Calgary thing. Like, again, we got
Mm.
Coronado for 7 more years, I believe, and Wolf for 8 more years, and both of those deals are, buying a bunch of UFA years, and it's just good to see, man. Like, Blake Coleman has nothing but great things to say about Calgary and has
Yeah,
played and never once complained about it, and has even spoken up in the locker room reportedly to guys who didn't want to be in Calgary, saying, "Hey, listen, some of us actually want to be here, so go fuck yourself and leave."
yeah,
In
yeah. Well,
paraphrased.
right, probably, probably you heard it here. um, I think when you have somebody like a Blake Coleman who's been around the league, he's obviously a seasoned veteran. He has respect of his teammates.
Multiple
And
time champion.
I think if you have somebody like that, in the corner of the Flames saying, "Hey, you want to play here," and that sort of thing, I think that sort of stuff helps. Um, I also don't really think that that was a thing to begin with per se. I think there was some situations that were not ideal, given, like you say, like your Hannafins and stuff like that. Whether it be coaches or where we were as a franchise and stuff like that over the years. Sure, there's been Americans that have left, but I don't think it's really a thing. I think
And
for the
also,
most part, these guys are professionals and they're going to play where they can get a contract and obviously where they want to win. Not that they've had much of a chance in that in the last 20 years here. There's been spurts, but I think if guys are willing to sign here long term, that shows some good progress and hope that they can get other players to get them into the playoffs and become an actual legit contender. We'll see.
yeah, I agree. And it's worth saying too, like, when Johnny Gaudreau, Matthew Tkachuk, and Noah Hannafin were all leaving, that was right in the middle of COVID, or nearing the end of COVID, actually. And
Mhm.
they had just finished being, unable to go see their families when they wanted to, and all sorts of stuff like that, right? They spent an entire season, a 56 game season, only playing in Canada, not ever getting to go home at all year long. And,
Mhm.
you know, some of that type of stuff is like, you know, a lot of people would also want to kind of maybe go a little bit closer to home or go to a place where they'd be able to more easily visit their family, and their family would be more able to visit them, and all that type of stuff, right? So you can't, to
Yeah,
me, you can't really blame them on that type of stuff. But it's nice to see some young American kids signing long term in Calgary.
yeah. I don't know if I so much am on the same side as that. I also truly believe during that time, obviously, there was a coach that was in place that
That
some
too, yeah.
younger players may not appreciate his style. You know, whether you like it or not. I'm myself I'm old enough to appreciate that sort of thing myself, but I can see where certain younger players may not like that style. Plus, the culture in the room was abysmal at the time. And that's one of the things that they focused on greatly last season is building the culture, making it better. People want to be and they're excited to be in the locker room, happy, having fun as a team. Where we definitely didn't see a lot of that over the last, 2, 3, 4 years, even leading up. We had a lot of coach changes. We had just a lot of ups and downs, a lot of bullshit that happened, in and around the Flames organization. So I think now that we're seeing the culture change, then obviously people are going to want to be part of it.
100% agree. Let's move on here, man. Connor Zary, just a few days ago, signed, as an RFA, signed a 3-year, $3.775 million deal. Um, that was the day that we had released our video, our last video. So we didn't get to report on that one quite yet. But yeah, personally, you know, everybody who's ever watched the show or listened to the show knows I'm a huge fan of the player. Um, I would I wouldn't have been upset with longer. I wouldn't have been upset with a little bit more. But hey, I think this deal specifically is great for the team and for the player. I think Connor Zary gets a healthy payday. He's guaranteed, what is that, 13, $14 million, something like that? Or no,
Mhm.
9, 10, $11 million. That's a lot of fucking money for a guy in his early 20s to lock up.
Yep.
Um, I think he gets to prove to, or at least try to prove to the team that he can be healthy, that he's not gonna, the leg injuries aren't going to be a long term issue. He gets to prove that, the dynamic offensive play that we saw at the beginning of last year and the parts of the year before, um, can, translate into an actual, 50 to 60 point season, maybe two or three 50, 60, 70 point seasons. Um, and then get another contract afterwards. And for me, the team gets a low risk deal here where they can actually keep control of the asset,
Yep.
because it expires as a restricted free agent. Given it, there's arbitration rights at the end of it, but still, it's still, Zary will be still Flames property at the end of the deal. So I think that both sides got the opportunity to see what Zary can become in the next couple years, and move on from there. And hopefully, you know, if he proves what I think he can prove, then I don't think anybody's going to be upset with giving him a raise at the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. That's exactly it. Obviously, Zary's had some some injuries issues stemming from AHL, NHL. He's missed a ton of time in his professional career. Um, and that is, in my opinion, clearly the marker here and why it ends up being a 3-year and not a 7-year, 8-year deal. And obviously the dollar amount isn't incredible, even though it gives them 2.7 mil more per year than the contract he's coming off, which is, not a bad little pay raise. I do agree that he does have a very bright future, and he has 3 years to prove that he can continue to be healthy, stay in the lineup, and then he's going to get paid.
And
Essentially,
develop.
yeah, exactly. Develop, get ready to prove yourself over the next 2 years even, and then in the third season when he's eligible for a contract, I foresee, barring something super drastic, I foresee a 7 or an 8 year times, 8, or something along those. It depends on what we see out of Connor over the next couple of years. So
Yeah.
I think it gives him the opportunity to prove himself and prove his worth. Obviously, he has the ability. It's all stemming from injury woes that he's had so far in his career.
Yeah, and I mean, it's hard to not talk about that when you're talking about Zary. Like, I think a lot of them have been unfortunate. I don't think he's putting himself in the position to get injured like some other guys.
Yep.
You look at the Patrick Laine's and the Jack Hughes of the world who turn into the boards and or lean their heads into other guys' elbows or whatever. But Zary just kind of gets caught up completely randomly with, like, that Mikko Rantanen thing with his leg was just disgusting. Um, that could happen to any player at any time completely by accident, right? It's not like Zary put himself in the position for that to happen, and then it just happened twice in one season, like randomly.
Yeah.
And even the year before or 2 years before that, when he had a blocked shot, um, what was it, his
Yeah.
first or second shift, I think, in preseason, he
I
blocked a
think,
shot off of his foot and broke his foot, and then missed half the year, and then started in the AHL, right?
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah.
think, yeah, hope,
It's been super unfortunate, obviously, right? Like nothing, it's not his style of play that's causing these injuries at all. I mean, if his style of play, meaning he's blocking a shot and gets an unfortunate break like that, I'll take his style of play, right? Obviously.
yeah,
It was just a freak accident, but he's still sustained it, and
absolutely.
has others, in his career. So it just makes sense for me to do that bridge deal. Personally, I think it's best for the Flames. I think it's best for Zary as well, because I think if he doesn't do the bridge deal, then he's looking at like a 5 or 6 times 5 at best, just because of the time loss that he's had in his career. Right? I don't think he's, do I think he has the ability to be an 8 mil, 9 mil player? 100%. Yes, I do. Do I think he's
There
shown
yet?
that right now? Yeah, not there yet, and not with the amount of games played, unfortunately. So I think this is the perfect deal for both sides, personally.
I totally agree, and it's exciting to see, like, the Flames are missing, some surefire first line players, but in my opinion, in Zary and Coronado, they have a couple of really strong projected second liners who could probably fill in as first liners and first power play guys, um,
Mm.
locked up for a little while and under team control for a while, and they have their franchise goalie, um, locked up long term, and they've got Zane Perek coming up this season, hopefully. Sticking with the team would be my guess all year, playing most of the games. My guess would be, in a couple of years, Zane Perek gets locked up. I can't see him, you know, not being a Flame for a long, long time. So I'm
Mm.
you know a couple of strong second liners and hopefully first pair defensemen in the future and a starting goalie, and that's a good start to a rebuild. All of these guys, being under 25. So, um,
Yeah,
good stuff by Craig Connery, good stuff by the Flames, and good to see these young guys wanting to play in Calgary long term, or even
yeah, absolutely.
on a bridge.
Yeah, absolutely. We have some decent contracts, moving forward as far as length of time and value wise. Obviously you got to take Huberdeau's out of there and Kadri, but I mean you got Coronado for for another 6 years. You got Sharon Govich for another 5. You got Uyghur for a good amount of time. Kevin Ball, I think you and I may be the only true Kevin Ball fans. To be honest, I don't see a lot of love in the Flames channels and social media for him. I've got a lot of respect for him, and I really love how he plays the game. And I'm excited the fact that we've signed him up for quite a few years. He's a 25-year-old guy. He's got a lot of years. He's got a lot of miles. He plays the right way, in my opinion. So I'm excited about some of the long-term contracts we have right now.
Yeah, me too. You want to talk about the projected lineup for this upcoming season?
Do I?
Oh boy. To me, I wanted to do this how I think it's going to happen, not how I want it to happen, because as much as I want to see certain guys playing higher up in the lineup, or want to see Perek getting a huge opportunity at 20 plus minutes a night, I can't see it happening knowing knowing how Huska
Mhm.
operates. Um, but I want to talk about the forwards to start. I think Coronado proved enough last year that he's going to start on the first line with Kadri and Huberdeau. I think that line is going to go absolutely nuts this season. Oh, I could see all of them getting 20, 25 goals. I could see all of them getting 55 to 70 points. Um, yeah. Is that realistic, competitive first line? Probably not, but it'll be nice to see Coronado getting that kind of ice time alongside, a couple of solid vets.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, honestly, when you have somebody like Coronado who has just an amazing shot and he's a natural goal scorer, why wouldn't you put him through or put him on a line with our potentially our number one playmaker or assist getter, right? In Huberdeau. You have to put those two
Power
together, in my
forward.
opinion, and leave them together for a while. Let them get accustomed to each other and build some chemistry. Because I honestly think the two of them together can potentially do some really good things. Kadri can add something to the line, I guess, when he's going to. So, you know, do we, you know, through the season, do we put Frost up there on occasion? Sure. Do we put Zary there to try him out? Sure. Bucket. Let's put Karen's up there for a bit too, just to see how things are. Right. These are
Yeah.
the years in which you want to see what you have and where you can actually slot these guys. Right.
Lapka.
We Yeah, 100%. Obviously in my lines, unfortunately, I've got Klapka on the fourth, which is shitty because I want to see him, in a middle six role, for the bulk of the season and stuff like that. But we just don't have the space right now because of all the veterans.
Yeah, I agree. But like as far as the starting lineup for game one, you have Kadri, Huberdeau, and Coronado as well.
Yeah, I sure do.
Yeah. What's your second line look like?
My second line is Zari on the wing with Frost and Sharon Govich.
Huh, that's exactly what I've got. This is a great example of why I did this as what I see happening and not what I'd like to happen, because
Mhm.
um I'd like to see Zary at center. I honestly, if I had the choice, I'd have Zary centering Huberto and Coronado, but I just don't see it happening. Um,
Right.
so I agree. I think Zary's going to be on the wing with Frost and Sharon Govich. I think that Frost has some good rush skills, and Zary's got some good puck possession skills, and Sharon Govich has a wicked shot. So I think those three players all
Yeah.
together will be able to cycle it around the zone pretty well, and work into some pretty good scoring opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. For the same reason that I want to and project that Coronado's going to play or play with Huberto, that's my same scenario when it comes to Zary and Frost playing with Sharon Govich, right?
Yeah.
We need to get Sharon Govich going again, and I think the only way to do that is to put him with some creative guys that can set up plays and have really good vision. And I think both Frost and Zary are those guys. And I honestly think that that would be a pretty stellar second line. I
Yeah.
also have Pospisil as a slash with Sharon Govich, depending on how he comes out and kind of what his attitude and what his demeanor is like after a few games. But I think opening night, I think that's going to be the line.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I mean Pospisil will get some chances in the top six. I don't think he starts there, and I don't think he's going to be a long
Mhm.
term a top six player. Um,
Agreed. Yeah, I agree.
what I'm looking forward to with Sharon Govich specifically on the second line there is at the end of 2 years ago and at the beginning of last year, Connor Zary really proved that he could carry the puck around the zone really well. And
Mhm.
other teams started to catch on to that and like chase him and leave other guys open. And Sharon
Mhm.
Govich is the type of guy who um isn't the strongest at getting open himself, but if he's left open, he'll score in
Yeah,
theory. He's got a
yeah,
wicked shot if he's got the confidence going. I think that he can score. I think he's going to get back up to 22 goals this season.
yeah,
Five-ish goals more than he had last season.
yeah.
Um,
No, I agree with that. He kind of has that same ability, I would say, that Lindholm has, the same, where he can't really necessarily get open on his own, but if he is, he can be deadly.
yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to compare him to Lindholm because Lindholm is
No,
an extremely
in no
strong
other way.
defensive player,
Yeah,
and Sharon Govich is not. But
correct,
yeah,
correct. Yeah, that's the only comparison I'm giving the two for sure.
yeah.
Yeah,
And Lindholm was always really good at playing strong defense and then being invisible because he was the trailer and having two of the best playmakers in the league on his line that one year with Gaudreau and Kachuk. Those guys would catch that he was trailing and alone, and he'd be able to walk in pretty easily. Um,
yeah,
I don't see Sharon Govich doing that so much as I see Sharon Govich kind of moving around slightly in the slot just a tiny little bit, and no, some other player just trying to chase Zary around and leaving Sharon Govich open.
yeah, mhm, yeah.
um,
Agreed.
so on the third line, is there a reason to ever break up Coleman and Backlund if other than a retirement or a trade?
Uh, I don't see any other reason. Um, no, I I can't think of the. Why would you do that? They clearly have chemistry together. There's no reason to. It's like you're not going to drop Coleman to the fourth line, and in my opinion, you're not going to drop your captain to the fourth line either.
You,
His minutes are way too valuable on the team. So I, yeah, that's that's my two guys. I obviously slotted Farabee in there just because I think he's probably going to be on that line, and because there's nowhere else really to put Farabee. Because yeah, I mean, do I want him on the fourth? Probably, but he's probably going to play alongside Backlund and Coleman, in my opinion.
that's the first thing that we have different. Um, I have Klapka up there
That's
because
that's where you're wrong, Dylan. That's where you're wrong. No, I would much prefer what you're saying, to be honest with you.
yeah, but I actually think that Klapka has started to earn the trust of the coaching staff. Like he was
Mhm.
put up with Kadri when who was it that got hurt? Was it Coronado got hurt for a game? I can't remember exactly who it was that got hurt. And he was put up with Kadri and Huberdeau, and he played like that game. And then the player who was hurt came back the next game, but they kept Klapka up there because he played
Right.
so well and he had a really strong end of the season stretch. He started playing a little bit better defensively. He started playing really, really well offensively, learned how to use his body without taking so many penalties. Um, I'm really impressed with this guy. I don't think he's going to be in the top six, but I
No.
think that he's earned enough trust in the coaching staff that he's going to be playing more. And I think that Farabee has not earned this coaching staff's trust. And I think that that's going to relegate him to the third line or the fourth line. Um,
Yep.
at least to start. Obviously, I think they're probably going to switch around throughout the season and all that type of stuff. I also like the idea of having Backlund and Coleman on a line with Klapka because Backlund kind of likes to shoot and miss the net a lot, and Klapka kind of likes to be right where the puck ends up and then can drive the net
Yeah.
from there, being
Oh
in the
yeah.
corner, right? Klapka's really good at picking up the puck in the corner and driving straight to the net and running through guys and getting a couple of shots off and scoring, right? So I
Well, and
think that
having
that's going to
having
work out
Klapka.
well offensively,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I agree. And I think having a guy like Klapka in front of the net, you know, like what's the call if the puck veers off his elbow a foot and a half above the crossbar? I think
well,
I think that's a
it
perfect
can
guy
do
to
that.
have on you. Yeah, that's what
The
I
puck
mean.
can do
Like
that. It just can't hit his stick
that's right. So
or
I
his
think
glove.
having a guy like Klapka in front of the net when you have a Backlund that you're right does have issues with accuracy as far as hitting the net. He's either scoring a goal or he's 3 feet away. So I feel like we could play that to our advantage and put the big Klapka in front and maybe reap the benefit. Who knows? Maybe Backlund will have a career year in goals with that type of scenario.
Um, possibly. I find that hard to believe. I mean,
Right.
Backlund's going to get all of the defensive starts, right? That's just how it is. Um,
Yeah.
so I've got Lomberg playing with Pospisil and Farabee. I don't want Pospisil at center, but he just got a new contract. Um, there's no other place for him.
Mhm.
Kirkland is my extra, and I could see him possibly also being the center and Pospisil being left wing sometimes, Lomberg moving in and out type of thing. But I think Farabee needs to earn the trust, like I was saying, of the coaching staff and earn his way up the lineup. Um, and I think Pospisil, I think he has more trust than being a fourth liner, but I don't think that there's any other spot for him. So I've got him at 4C.
Yep. Yeah, I can see that. I got Lomberg in and out. I've got Cairns in and out. I think Cairns is going to play a bunch of middle six. I'm hoping he's going to play at least 30 games this year in the
I
in
hope so
the
too.
bottom six role. Um, so I have Pospisil, who I think is going to be the guy that kind of fills in gaps where whether it be injury or somebody in a slump or whatever the case may be. I think Pospisil is going to be the guy that rolls around the lineup the most. Because I truly believe that Klapka is going to be either a bottom or a middle six guy, likely bottom. Um,
Yeah.
and Farabee, you're right. He needs to earn a lot in order to get off the fourth, in my opinion.
There's just a log jam. That's all there is. That's
Yeah.
all there is to it. There's a log jam at right wing. There's a log jam at center, which is crazy because we don't even have centers, but there's a log jam there. And there's a log jam on left wing. And we need to move a couple of these guys, in my opinion, to free up some minutes for Karens, to free up some more minutes for a Pospisil or Klapka or
Mhm.
just some of these guys who are in the system and need a little bit more of an opportunity. Right now, there's just no opportunity, and it's hard to envision Farabee getting as much as I think Farabee's the one that deserves the scratch the most at this point.
Yeah.
It's hard to envision a guy making as much money as Farabee is getting that scratch often,
Yeah.
right? Especially if they want to move him, which I would think they do. It's hard to move a guy who's sitting, right?
Yeah.
Who
Yeah.
can't
I
do
mean,
that.
that's the reality of where the Flames are right now, anyways, right? We need we need to move some veterans. We need to move some assets, and with that, I think we need to get picks. As far as on paper goes, we've got a ton of centers, but none of them should be on the top line, right? We got
Yeah,
Kadri, we got Zary, we got Frost, we got Sharon Govich listed, we got Pospisil listed, we got Karen's listed, we got Kirkland listed,
Backlund.
Backlund. Like there's so many middle to bottom six centermen.
There isn't a
It's
top
that's
line.
too many. There's zero
I mean,
top
there's no
line
top
on
line
that
players on
position.
this team.
Correct. Correct.
Um,
Yes.
Now there's top pairing players. Um,
Sure.
is Joel
Sure.
Hanley a top line player? Probably not, but he's plays super well with Uyghur, and that's who I've got on my first pair. They proved that they could play super well together for the majority of last year. Well, sorry, for the last third, I guess, of last year. Um,
Yeah.
I think that was Uyghur's strongest stretch of the season, and that was Hanley's easily strongest stretch of his entire career. Um, I think that's why they re-signed Hanley. There's no other reason for them to re-sign Hanley other than to play with Uyghur, in my opinion.
I mean, I'm still trying to figure out why you sign a 38 year or sorry 34-year-old with the logjam that we already have. It's baffling to me, and that's no slight on Hanley. He finished the year very strong. He looked really good.
There's just no
Yeah.
spot for him.
There just isn't, right?
It's funny
I
you're saying that because I've got him on my first pair, but
which is that's right. I don't. I have him on the third. Um,
okay,
I honestly think with the chemistry and or friendship that Perek and Uyghur, I think Perek is going to start the
wow,
season with Uyghur.
wow,
Um,
that's
I
bold.
think he's I think he's going to be given the opportunity to shine and given the opportunity to prove his worth and to make the mistakes if they come. So I myself have him with Uyghur on the top line. I really think that he's going to be something, and I think the only way that you get something out of these guys is to put them right into it. I
I don't think
I
that's
know
Huska's style.
I know some will say, what about confidence? You got to, earn your time. I get all that. I think with guys like Perek, I think he's got a swagger about him, and I think he wants this. He wants to shine, and he wants this moment, and I think he's going to bust his ass in training camp, and he's going to earn that spot to be on the top pairing for game one with Uyghur. That's my projection. That's my bold take. You say Backlund's going to retire Flame. I say Perek on the first pairing.
Like I think Perek's going to be a first pair player for the vast majority of his career. Um,
Mhm.
and I think he's going to earn more minutes as the season goes along. I just
Yeah.
I can't see Huska starting him unsheltered. You know what I mean? I think that he's
Mm.
like my third pair is going to be Pahal and Perek because I feel like as much as I don't think Pahal needs to be sheltered, I think that him with Perek is probably going to be a offensive zone start against opposing teams' third and fourth lines for the first little bit of the season. I can see Parekh moving his way up, especially as Anderson gets traded whenever that happens. But I just can't see it happening right away. I think he's going to need to earn his minutes, man. Like as much as like I said at the beginning of this, I like to see Parekh given more minutes right away. I think it's going to be a slow burn with him. I think he's going to start on power play 2 and earn his way up to power play 1 real quick because he's easily going to be the most dynamic player on the team, especially defenseman, right? And he's going to be the only guy, like, as much as we all like Uyghur, is Uyghur really a power play 1 defenseman?
No, no,
No,
but I
that
think he's a solid power play too.
100%. But yeah, like I've got Ball and Anderson on my second pair, and then when Anderson gets traded, I'm hoping that's in the first month of the season, maybe month and a half. Um, I think Parekh will probably move up and play with Ball around that time, and
Mhm.
start
I
earning
don't.
more minutes. Like I just think he's going to be sheltered to start.
Yeah, that's fair. And I honestly don't mind a ball working with Parekh, to be honest, because I think having somebody of that size and that kind of stature and stay at home is going to be pretty key to Parekh's development and career in the NHL. I think he's going to need somebody to hang back, right? So obviously he's going to need, like a Bahal or a Uyghur or a Ball, even though Uyghur does like to join the rush quite a bit too. But I think, I mean, I'm all for Parekh getting second line minutes with Ball if we can ever get rid of that contract or that player in Anderson. Love the guy, love the career he's had in Calgary, all of that. I just really think he's going to be a big fucking distraction
As
for
much as they
this
say he's
season.
not, I agree.
It already is, in my opinion. Like it's just
It's the only thing anyone
get
ever
him
talks
out,
about.
right? Just get him out. It's going to be the topic of all the interviews for the first freaking month until it happens, right? Like it's just get him out. He doesn't want to be here. We
Yeah,
know we're trading him. Just get it done,
I
right?
couldn't agree
Get
more.
it done for the betterment of the guys in the locker room and the team moving forward. Just get it done.
Yeah, but he's. I mean, I still am holding out hope he gets traded before the start of the season, but it's looking
Yeah,
like probably not. So Ball, like I've got Ball and Anderson. I'm guessing you've got Ball and Anderson on the same pair too. And then what
yeah.
you've got
They
Hall
were they were a
and
brilliant they were a
Hanley
brilliant pair in the last season. I thought they did really well together.
at the beginning of the
Yeah.
season
So
for sure.
from that's right, and yeah, I've got Pahal, Hanley, and then I obviously have got Bean in there to slot in through the season as well. Maramonov, I omitted from my sheet because I'm holding out hope that we can maybe get another fourth round pick for the 2026 draft.
I'll be straight up, man. I've got Bean on my extras list. I've got
Yeah.
Solovyov on my extra list.
Mhm.
And I'd like to have Kuznetsov on my extra list. I do not have Miramonov on my extras list.
Yeah.
The thing is if you waive Bean and Miro is or any like any team's gonna take them. I fucking hope so.
Yeah. Perfect. I'm
That would be
perfectly
awesome
okay with either one of them making their exit to another team.
because if you send them down and they don't get waived, they're gonna be taking time away from as much as I don't really care about Poirier anymore. They're going to be
Right.
taking time from him. They're going to be taking time from Hunter Brstevich. They're going to be taking time from Artem Grushnikov,
Mhm.
Solovyov or Kuznetsov, whoever's down there, type of thing, right? They're going to be taking Etienne Morin, the big one. I don't want all those guys to not be getting the time that they deserve down there, in my opinion. And I'd like to see Brstevich get a chance up at the NHL level, but I do think he's just going to be the AHL number one all year long.
Yeah. Yeah. He's another year out. again, we've got that log jam, right? So
Yeah.
is could he potentially be ready this year? Probably. Should he have a chance to crack the lineup and or at least slot into 10 to 15 games this year? Definitely. But because of that log jam, I just can't see it. It's unfortunate. But Craig's got a lot of work to do between now and I'm going to say December. To be honest with you, like
Yeah,
even like
I
I
agree.
don't want really any of these guys here at the trade deadline. In
Yeah,
fact,
meaning
yeah, you're
Ball,
right. Like
Miramonov, or sorry, not Ball,
yeah,
meaning Bean, Miramonov, and even Poirier,
and
really, and Anderson.
right or Anderson. Anderson. Obviously, I want a big trade. Bean can just leave. Um, and same with Miramonov. If we can get a couple of the guys, playing for the Wranglers right now to really push for a spot or at least be the seventh D man, you got to waive those guys like before the season starts. Like, in my opinion, you just have to
If
get them out the door, make room for the guys coming up.
Yeah, no, I
It's just
agree.
that's what has
If
to
the
happen.
Calgary Flames were the kind of team that was contending, didn't have a whole bunch of prospects knocking on the door, didn't have a bunch of young guys knocking on the door, Jake Bean would be a perfectly fine number 7, in my opinion.
Mhm.
I
Truth.
don't hate him nearly as much as most of the fan base does, but given the context of the team, he
Yeah.
can climb into the same fucking cannon that we put his dad in a couple years ago, and they can both fucking go right up to the sun for all I care.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's definitely no slight on Bean, to be honest with you. It's just I want to see other players
Well,
in his
John Bean
position.
can go fuck himself, but that's besides the point.
Right. Right. Yeah, don't come on. Let's not be so harsh on on the kid, right? Like, jeez.
No, his kid's fine.
Um, yeah. No, like I said, it's no slight on him. There's 4 players I'd rather be in his position.
Yeah.
That's all that is in my opinion. Like is what it is. I got him obviously as their 7th currently, given the situation we're in. But yes, I would much rather there be a scenario where he's playing for another team come opening night.
Yeah, I agree. And I've got Prosvedov starting and Wolf backing up.
Just because, just just
When was the
fuck.
last time you were speechless?
I mean, when you first said it, I'm like, no, you know what? It's been a couple of years since you fucking trolled me, and it's been nice. It's been nice. Not gonna lie,
Yeah, it's
that
been a
was
while.
so bad. That was so bad. That's probably how opening night's gonna go. You're right. You know, fuck this 7 times 7 7 5, right?
I mean, if Jeff Ward was still here,
If Jeff Ward was still here, Miramonov would be in the lineup.
yeah, and Farabee would be the first line center for roughly 7 shifts of every game and play on every line every game.
Nah, I feel like he'd be a Lomberg fan
Well,
because
the
he.
the
I
thing
mean,
about
I
Ward
mean,
is
I'm
every
a
player played on
Lomberg
every
fan.
line every game.
That's true. Yeah, and there goes the blender.
Shillington played on every line every game, and he was a defenseman in
No,
theory.
that the issue there was is Shillington thought he was a forward,
Yeah.
um, and was never in a position to play defense. And when he was just no good at it. I'm pretty sure the fact that he's looking for a team to play for right now will illustrate that.
You remember that one game you and I went to see against Dallas in the playoffs a few years back? We were sitting there watching the Dallas scored the winning goal, and Shillington was in the Dallas end, just
Yeah.
getting up off his skates, completely uninjured or anything. He was just like, "Huh, I thought I was playing
Little urgency, kid. Little urgency. Please just get in the fucking play, or get off the ice and let a defender on the ice."
Yeah. Anyways, I don't think we need to drag this on much longer. We got Flames hockey coming up right away. Super excited for that. Preseason's only about a couple weeks away. Season's coming up early next month. Make sure you let us know what your projected lineups are in the comment section below. Let us know how you feel about Wolf and Zary's contracts. And follow us on all of our social medias. Follow us on YouTube. All that good stuff.
Oh, and we'll have some stuff up this week on our new Spotify channel, so stay tuned for that. We'll have some updates on X at armchairgm_pod, as well as on our Facebook page. So be on the lookout. Exciting times as we roll into the 25-26 season with the Calgary Flames. It's going to be fun, everybody.
Yeah.
Let's fucking go.
Go
Cheers.
Flames, go.
Go Flames.